heartbreak isn't just emotional, it's biological. Today I'm going to show you exactly how romantic rejection hijacks the same part of your brain as addiction. You're going to learn why missing someone feels like actual withdrawal, why your body keeps craving connection even when your mind actually knows better, and how to start gently rewiring your nervous system for real healing. So if you've ever felt stuck, obsessed, or ashamed of how hard it is to move on from someone, this episode will change the way you see yourself and your healing journey. Understanding what's happening inside you isn't just comforting, it's your superpower for recovery. If you find conversations like this helpful, where we unpack the real psychology behind heartbreak, trauma, and healing, make sure you follow or subscribe. Always hit like and leave a review to the podcast and our videos, as it helps this space reach more people who might really need to hear these messages. And it also makes sure that you don't miss out on any of our new content that helps us unpack and heal from the inevitable shit show that life will throw at us. Now, whether or not you're going through a breakup, you're in a cycle of someone discarding you, then coming back, which a counsellor that I know of, Ken Reed, he always refers to it as the avoidant boomerang effect. So 1 minute they're there, the next minute they're gone, then they're back, then they're gone. So have you ever felt off the back of this that you were actually addicted to someone? Like, no matter how much you knew the relationship wasn't healthy, you could not stop thinking about them. You're constantly craving their attention. You're replaying memories over and over. You're not crazy, and you're definitely not weak. Today we're going to break down exactly why heartbreak feels like withdrawal, because on a biological level, it is. Heartbreak hijacks the same reward circuits in your brain as addiction. So let's unpack how love acts like a drug, and more importantly, how you can start to heal. Romantic rejection. Whether it's a breakup, ghosting, or even just loving someone who didn't or couldn't love you back, this triggers real neurological pain, which can also manifest as physical pain. Your brain responds to romantic loss almost the exact same way it responds to physical injury or substance withdrawal. It's not just emotional sadness, it's biological withdrawal from the chemical highs that love once gave you. The rush you felt when they texted you, when they looked at you, when they touched you, all of that wasn't just in your imagination, it was real, powerful chemistry happening within your brain and within your body. Every interaction flooded your brain with neurotransmitters. Dopamine, giving you those surges of pleasure, motivation, and a deep craving for more, which is also what social media hijacks and why we get so addicted to it. Then there's norepinephrine, ramping up your energy, heightening your focus, and making you hyperfixate on them. This is also why in the early stages of dating, people tend to not sleep as much, because you're just sort of jacked up and excited about this new amazing person that you've met. And then we have oxytocin, often called the bonding chemical or the love drug, creating a powerful sense of trust, comfort, connection, and attachment. These chemicals are all released in response to connecting moments. Seeing their name pop up on your phone, getting a text from them, laughing together, the hugs, the physical affection, having emotional, vulnerable conversations. All of these moments are powerful triggers for your brain's reward system. And over time, your brain wires itself around the presence of this person as a major source of safety, pleasure, and validation, and also getting these little neurochemical drug kicks. But when that connection is suddenly ripped away, especially through a sudden breakup or emotional abandonment, those feel-good chemicals absolutely crash, and that is when withdrawal kicks in. So let's break down what happens when this neurochemical love crash happens. When the relationship ends or even just drastically changes, the brain's access to dopamine and oxytocin plummets. No more reward hits, no more bonding surges, no more anticipation-driven highs. And at the same time, your serotonin levels, which regulate mood and emotional stability, they also drop significantly. So the combination of all of this triggers what we experience as withdrawal symptoms: the craving for connection, obsessive thoughts, heightened levels of anxiety, physical tension, emotional overwhelm. All of this nervous system dysregulation is happening as a result of this neurochemical withdrawal. This is why when your romantic partner or your person of interest has just suddenly vanished and ripcorded out of the relationship or the dynamic, why we feel so highly dysregulated and just completely out of control and chaotic internally. So you're feeling trapped between desperately wanting relief and knowing that the source of that relief is no longer available. Now, this isn't just missing someone, although large in part it is, but it is also your nervous system crashing and trying to recalibrate itself. And here's the kicker: even just thinking about your ex can trigger tiny dopamine surges. You get momentary relief followed by an even bigger crash. It's exactly like an addiction cycle: momentary highs, deeper lows, and then you are constantly chasing. And then for those of us with ADHD, myself included, this cycle can actually hit even harder because ADHD brains already have differences in dopamine regulation and a higher sensitivity to novelty, connection, and rejection. When we bond hard. And when that bond breaks, the dopamine disruption can feel even more intense. Now, I have also covered this in episode 3 of the Avoidant Recovery podcast. So if you are interested in learning a little bit more about how ADHD, avoidant attachment, and sudden breakups can really create a complete shit cake of dysregulation, I encourage you to jump in and listen to that episode. But I am also going to be diving deeper into ADHD and heartbreak in future episodes because it's a really important layer that doesn't get talked about nearly enough. Now, irrespective of the presence of ADHD, or you are someone who is perfectly normal and neuro vanilla, the longer you chase that emotional high, checking their social media, replaying old messages, hoping for another hit, the longer you will stay stuck in this withdrawal phase. And it's not just a breakup that you are dealing with, it's actually an emotional detox, which it doesn't lessen how awful it is, but understanding again helps us hopefully be able to process and move through things with a little bit more awareness and self-compassion. So here are some of my quick tips for the emotional detox. Healing your brain chemistry after heartbreak is slow, it is painful, and it takes time, but you can support it. As much as we hate it, we cannot fast track the process. When you fast track or try and speed through the healing process, that's when we usually take shortcuts, and the strategies that may be adopted, they're typically the ones that are more band-aid solutions and they don't actually foster real healing work. And a perfect example of this is like when your ex or yourself jumps into a rebound relationship. That is not healing, that is an emotional band-aid, and it's going to catch up with you down the track. Not looking at band-aid solutions, looking at things that actually help. And some of the strategies that I've found over the years, and from what I have learned from working with other mental health professionals, moving your body regularly, even gentle walks, because this stimulates healthy levels of dopamine. Prioritizing real-world connection. As much as how much instinctively we may want to go into hermit mode and withdraw, which, God, I am forever guilty of this, that is the avoidant part in me coming through, and I am more aware of it, but old habits die hard. But we do need to connect with people because we have lost connection and we heal through connection. So prioritizing some real world connection with friends and people that just generally feel safe, those that are around us that help us feel validated and heard, and sometimes just that light-hearted laughter that we may get from these people. It is incredibly, I think, anxiety-inducing when you just do not feel like interacting with anyone. You just want to curl up on your couch and be a potato, but that will also delay your healing. So even just catching up with a friend to go for a walk, having a small interaction with them, going out for a coffee, these bite-sized bits of human connection are actually phenomenally healing if they're with the right people. And I do know that not everyone has access to this, and healing can be phenomenally lonely. I have lived that very much myself as well. One of the best things that I have ever found for me is going to a dog park. I have a dog, so it's less weird if I take my dog to the dog park. But even if you don't, just going to a dog park is probably one of the most healing and just self-loving, distracting moments that you can access that is entirely free, and just getting free puppy love. Oh my God, the amount of relief that I get from that, and I know other people that I've discussed this strategy with who have also experienced that, it is amazing. Now, beyond this, we've got, and this is all very well and good me being armchair psychologist, but this is again not mental health advice. I'm just sharing lived experience and strategies that have worked for myself personally. This one's probably the hardest one for people to kick, because it is essentially we are sabotaging our own dopamine reward system by removing it. So we've got to be cruel to be kind to ourselves. And this is reducing our rumination triggers. So this can be digitally and or physically. So physically, photos and reminders of them that you may have around your house, around your bedroom. You may need to put them away just to dampen that down, even for a short period of time. And then digitally, muting their social media, removing reminders. In some cases, it's 100% okay to unfriend your ex or unfollow them or remove them as a follower, which I 100% do. And if you are someone who, even if you do that or their profile is public, you may need to block them. And I know there's some dating coaches out there that are like, don't delete your ex, let them stay on your social media. You want them to see that you're glowing up and you're just doing all of this performance bullshit to try and trigger them to want you back, which that to me is just mind games. It's not healthy. It keeps the focus on your ex and how they're responding to you, and you almost end up performing for them. So this isn't about your ex and getting them back. This is about what is emotionally healthy for you whilst you are going through this hardcore heartbreak and emotional detox. So I am 100% okay and encourage people, if it's going to help them, go ahead and block them, remove them, whatever is going to be healthy for you. Fuck what your ex thinks. Who cares what they're looking at? As much as, yes, maybe we do care if they're looking or not, because we do want that validation on some level, because oftentimes, especially if it was an avoidant breakup, that they've just ripcorded out of the relationship and you're left wondering, did I even matter? Have I ever mattered? Did they ever care about me? So when you've had such disruption to your nervous system and you're kind of left questioning everything, part of it is questioning, did I even matter to them? And we are chasing to some degree that validation because of the actual emotional wounding that comes off as a result of this. So that I'll talk about as far as the emotional abuse side of relationships in future episodes. Today we're focusing on the detox, but it is normal to want that validation from them and just trying to find any sense or any little bit of evidence that you did actually matter to them, which this is a multi-layered, multi-nuanced topic. So like I said, we'll cover that in another day, but it is entirely normal to want to know if they're watching you to see if you mattered. So it is normal, but again, if that's where your focus goes, you can actually be slowing down your healing journey, and it can actually make it a lot more painful and prolonged on some level. But realistically, that's not going to help your healing. So with this, it's actually a power move to do what is right for you, to not focus on how they're looking at things, how they're responding to things. Are they following you? Are they secretly stalking you? Who gives a shit? Because focusing on that is harmful to you. We are here to help you feel better about yourself and facilitate your healing journey. Other things that we might be able to do that really starts to heal that nervous system dysregulation, things like even just engaging in novelty, new hobbies, new places, new routines to help rebuild those dopamine pathways via a different avenue. And as much as it's probably oversimplified, and I won't do it justice in just the very brief mention I'll give it here, but even just practicing mindfulness. So 5 minutes a day with some of our mindfulness and grounding apps, even just attempting to meditate for 5 minutes can help calm the stress circuits that often get hijacked by grief. So again, I'm not going to be able to do mindfulness justice, but I do have planned to have some guided mindfulness sessions that are going to pop up on the YouTube channel, and I might inject them into the podcast somewhere along the line. So keep an eye out on that. I will let you know. Anyway, if you are struggling with not moving on as fast as you want, and I know it feels hard, it's not because that there is anything wrong with you. You are literally trying to heal a hijacked nervous system as well as actual heartbreak. And lastly, why I feel it's so important to understand what is happening is because understanding it actually helps and facilitates healing. When you realize that heartbreak is not just emotional, but it's also neurological, you can finally, hopefully, stop beating yourself up. And I'll be honest, this is something I see mirrored even in my current professional work. So after almost 20 years of working with injured patients, I've learned this over and over again, that the more someone understands their body, the better equipped they are to heal. If you know what's happening inside you, it's easier to try and create and facilitate the right environment, physically, emotionally, psychologically, all of the above, for true healing and recovery to happen. And it is the exact same thing with heartbreak. Understanding the biology behind your pain, it doesn't erase it. It doesn't reduce it down to, oh, well, it's just this scientific explanation that invalidates my feelings. No. It is explaining why the feelings are so profound. Because we're humans. We are wired for connection. We are physiologically built to love and connect with others. Like I said, understanding the biology behind it, it doesn't erase it, but it can empower you. It lets you stop seeing yourself as broken and maybe invalidated when other people are saying, I don't understand why you're so beaten up by this person you only knew for a few weeks, or this relationship only lasted for a year. There's other relationships you've been in that were 5-10 years long and it didn't knock you up as much as this. It's because there are other things at play. Every relationship is different. Every person is different. So hopefully understanding this better lets you stop seeing yourself as broken and potentially invalidated by others around you for having these big feelings. And when you can do this, you can start to see yourself and facilitate your healing process. So you're not addicted to them because you're weak. You're craving connection because we are wired for love. And that's not a flaw. It's a beautiful part about being human. So healing, it starts with truth. Healing deepens with compassion, especially self-compassion. And healing lasts when you rebuild your nervous system on a foundation of self-trust, not external highs. Now, if you're in the middle of heartbreak right now, I see you. Your pain is real, but it is also temporary. You're not crazy, you're not weak, you're going through withdrawal. And you're also getting stronger even when it actually feels impossible. And if today's episode resonated with you, I would be so grateful if you subscribed, rated, or shared it with someone who you feel might need to hear this as well. Healing is hard, but we don't have to do it alone. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next episode.